Music to soothe you. Ease away your tension and set your soul free. All Ballad Thursday on Gold FM.
93 or 93.2 FM.
A very good evening to you. This is Mark Mariadas bringing you the news roundup.
The top story on Gold FM.
Asia remains the primary driver of global growth despite a looming energy shock and rising inflation, according to the latest regional economic outlook. Growth in the region is projected to moderate from 5% last year to 4.4% in 2026, as advanced economies face softening domestic demand and emerging markets feel the weight of higher energy prices. Economists warn that while the initial impact of the energy crisis has been offset by existing tailwinds, the composition of the outlook has become less favorable.
The negative impact of the energy shock has been offset to a considerable extent by the tailwinds that already put the region on a solid footing. Hence, under our reference scenario, which assumes a conflict of a limited scope and duration, growth forecasts for Asia are broadly unchanged relative to our forecasts in January. And Asia remains the main driver of global growth. Regional growth is projected to moderate from 5% in 2025 to 4.4% in 2026 and 4.2% in 2027. Advanced Asia is expected to slow as domestic demand stays soft. Emerging Asia remains the main growth engine, but the momentum is set to moderate with broad-based decelerations in China, India, and the ASEAN as higher energy prices weigh on consumption and external positions. The composition of the outlook is also less favorable. Inflation is projected to rise from 1.4% in 2025 to 2.6% in 2026 and to ease to 2.4% in 2027. External balances are weaker, policy space is narrower, and more importantly, risks are now firmly to the downside. First, what are these risks? First, a larger or more persistent energy shock would hit Asia-Pacific countries unevenly. Second, economies that depend heavily on imported energy use are especially vulnerable. Third, risks are greater still where energy buffers and fiscal space are limited or where remittances, tourism, or fertilizer imports add to the exposure. This matters in parts of South Asia, Southeast Asia, and key among the Pacific Island countries.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
In the meantime, Sri Lanka reportedly paid a record price of $286 for a single barrel of oil. Speaking at an investment forum in Hong Kong, HSBC Group CEO Georges Elhedery highlighted the staggering discrepancy between global benchmark prices and the actual costs incurred by Asian buyers. While international benchmarks like West Texas Intermediate and Brent remain near $91 and $95 respectively, the reality on the ground reflects a much more dire economic picture for the island nation. The foreign media sites reported Elhedery saying, quote, "What worries me is not the headlines. I mean, oil headline is above $100, $110. Realistically, if you are now trying to get oil from the Middle East, you may be paying $140, $150, unquote. While reiterating the fact that the highest price he had heard from a barrel of oil was $286 in Sri Lanka. The surge stems primarily from the escalating US-Israeli conflict with Iran, which saw Tehran seize control of the Strait of Hormuz and block vital Gulf exports. Although Saudi Arabia continues to export through its Red Sea port of Yanbu, the geopolitical tension creates a massive supply vacuum for regional importers. Logistical costs added significant weight to the final price tag, with shipping rates and insurance premiums reaching unprecedented levels. Elhedery noted that shipping from the Red Sea now costs an additional $30 to $40 per barrel, while insurance rates jumped from 25 basis points to 5%. The Gold FM News team reached out to HSBC's Group Press Office headquarters in London which did in fact verify that the statement by its CEO. However, the chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation released a statement this evening announcing that statements circulating via social media and various sectors regarding the price of crude oil import by the corporation are false. Accordingly, the chairman states that reports circulating claiming the corporation has agreed to pay $286 per barrel of crude oil are completely untrue, and that no agreement has been entered in for such a price. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa revealed that domestic fuel prices could increase due to fluctuations in the global crude oil market. Speaking to the media in Aggalwatha today, Dr. Jayatissa noted that local pricing remains sensitive to international shifts. In the interest of clarity, we have left his remarks undubbed.
විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි තෙල් සැපයීම සහ විදුලි සැපයීම අඛණ්ඩව සිදු කරනවා. ලෝක වෙළඳපොලේ සිදුවන මිල උච්චාවචනයන් එක්ක යම් මිල ඉහළ දැමීම් ප්‍රමාණයක් කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙයි. හැබැයි ඒ කරන්නේ සමස්ත මිල ඉහළ දැමීම නෙවෙයි. එයින් සැලකිත කොටසක් භාණ්ඩාගාරේ දරාගෙන තවත් කොටසක් සමාගම් විසින් දරාගෙන තමයි අපි යම් ප්‍රමාණයක මේ වැඩි කිරීම ජනතාව මත පටවලා තිබෙන්නේ. ඒකත් ඇත්තටම මේ යුදමේ තත්ත්වයේ පහව ගිය ගමන්ම හැකි ඉක්මනට අඩු කිරීම තමයි රජය බලාපොරොත්තු.
The Colombo Crimes Division took former Member of Parliament Chandana Katriarachchi into custody today following the discovery of illegal munitions at his residence. During a raid in Piliyandala, authorized by the Casbaba Magistrates Court, officers recovered a significant cache of weaponry. The seized items include 2 T56 magazines, over 200 rounds of live ammunition and a live hand grenade. Specialist units from the police task force neutralized the explosive device later this afternoon. While several firearms found on the premises belonged legally to the former MP and his wife, the discovery of unauthorized explosives and ammunition led to his immediate arrest. Despite protests from supporters gathered outside the property, police transferred Katriarachchi to the Colombo Crimes Division. Authorities confirm he faces a court appearance at the Casbaba Magistrates Court later today. The Navy detained a multi-day fishing trawler and 4 suspects during a special operation in the deep sea south of Sri Lanka. Naval personnel discovered a stock of sacks suspected of containing narcotics during the raid. The vessel and the arrested fishermen are currently being escorted to shore for further investigation. Criminal Investigation Department officers are set to bring Subana Handi Sanat de Silva, alias Raju, back to the country from India tomorrow afternoon. Raju, the brother of an alleged organized criminal, Karandeniya Sudha, was arrested at New Delhi airport while attempting to flee to another country. Police seek him for involvement in over 15 criminal incidents, including murder.
Now for some news in brief.
Services at the Department of Registration of Persons, including the one-day service, will not be available tomorrow due to a system outage.
The business news on Gold FM.
The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange closed at 22,588.97 points after gaining 327.49 points today. S&P SL 20 index also gained 55.77 points to close at 6,230.76 points. Turnover totaled 5 billion rupees.
International news on Gold FM.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned Iranian leadership to, quote, choose wisely, unquote, or face the possibility of renewed combat operations as the United States military reportedly enforces a strict naval blockade on Iranian ports. Speaking at the Pentagon, Hegseth said American forces are locked and loaded and ready to resume bombing campaigns at short notice if diplomatic efforts led by Vice President J.D. Vance fail to produce an agreement. He also claimed that Tehran lacks the capacity to replace its lost military capabilities, adding that US forces are reloading with greater strength than ever before. Iranian officials, however, have signaled strong interest in de-escalation. Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf stated that achieving a ceasefire in Lebanon is just as important to Tehran as securing one with Iran itself. Ghalibaf emphasized that Iran and the so-called Axis of Resistance act as a unified force in both war and peace, while urging Washington to abandon what he described as an Israel-first policy. In a turn of events, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun declined to speak with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, according to a Lebanese official. This refusal followed an announcement by US President Donald Trump claiming the two leaders intended to hold historic negotiations. US Central Command also confirmed that the USS Spruance recently intercepted an Iranian-flagged cargo vessel attempting to bypass the restrictions and redirected it back to the port. Iran has warned it may retaliate by targeting commercial shipping through Houthi-aligned forces in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, Pakistan's foreign ministry stated that no date or venue has yet been set for the next round of formal peace talks.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
Alexander Sandy Morton, the veteran actor famous for his role as Golly Mackenzie in the Scottish series Monarch of the Glen, died at the age of 81. His prolific career spanned over 5 decades, featuring a 14-year stint as villain Andy Semple in Take the High Road and roles in films such as Get Carter.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike will miss the remainder of the season and the upcoming World Cup following a ruptured Achilles tendon. Liverpool exit the competition following a 2-0 defeat, while France manager Didier Deschamps confirmed the forward will remain sidelined for the tournament. That's all the news from the roundup. Have a good night.
Sit back,